Good morning and welcome to my channel. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Dr. Doris and I'm a medical doctor in Nigeria as well as in Australia, and I'm here to give you some health tips. So guys, come on, let's go, let's do this. So guys, I'm generally here to talk about the symptoms that you should never ignore. Okay, symptoms that you should never ignore. Never ever ignore these symptoms, because ignoring them might actually have a very fatal consequences. In a child, when you have a baby, if you notice that your baby is suddenly vomiting something that is greenish color, greenish vomit, that is what we call bilious vomiting. You should never overlook this. Okay, once this happens, please rush your baby to the hospital, because there might be an intestinal obstruction which needs to be quickly attended to. Number two symptom never to ignore is when your baby is vomiting and the vomit is forceful, like projectile. The vomiting goes like in a projectile form, like boom, like this towards you. Never ever ignore those symptoms, because in your child that might actually be a sign of pyloric stenosis, so which means that an obstruction somewhere in the stomach region, which is called the pylorus. You need to take your child to get checked out. Another symptom you should never ignore is if your baby is having sudden stomach swelling. If your baby's stomach is suddenly getting distended, bigger and bigger every day, and you have tried to burp your baby and the baby is having like normal stool and everything, and still the tummy is getting bigger, you need to get it checked out as well. You need to take your child to your doctor to see why that is happening, to avoid fatal consequences. Another symptom that you should never ever ignore in a child is if the child suddenly stops going to toilet for a long period of days, and you notice that if the baby is trying to poo, they'll be crying or shouting, and if it goes more than 1 week without going to toilet, you should get the baby checked out just to be on a safe side. Okay, so if the child is not going to toilet, the child is not going passing wind, like there's no form of um gas, you know what we call like someone polluting like the air, so wind, passing gas, flatus, there's nothing like that in your child, then you should also get your child checked out just to make sure that your child is not having any form of obstruction in the stomach. If you notice any sudden pain or swelling, like any swelling in any part of your baby's body, which is like whenever you touch it, there is pain, you should also know that that might be something that is growing in your baby and you need to take your baby to the hospital. Another sign not to ignore in a baby is when you as a person, you notice sudden swelling in any part of the groin area. So the groin is just basically the area that is just slightly below the baby's belly. So the right two sides, the thigh, the topmost part of the thigh, if you see any sudden swelling there, okay, you should get it checked out, because that might be a hernia. Okay, another thing is if you notice sudden redness of your child's scrotum, if it's a male child, sudden redness, please and please do not ignore these symptoms. Then if you have a female child and you started noticing sudden redness or sudden vaginal bleeding, especially when they are not yet at the age of seeing their menstruation at a younger age, then you still do not need to ignore this particular symptoms. You need to take your child to the hospital to get evaluated, just to make sure that if there is maybe a foreign body that the baby has put in there, or to rule out any form of abuse. These are the things that you as a mother should never, or as a parent as a whole, should never ignore in your babies, because ignoring them might have very very big consequences. So guys, these are the basic things you need to know, and I will meet you again in my next video. Thank you.